Coaches, welcome back to this week's PGC Coaches Circle Journey. I'm here with Micah Hayes and Graham Maxwell. And guys, we're going to talk about energy and spirit and bringing that passion every single day and how you can hold teams accountable. How can we make sure that it shows up every day? We're going to talk about that in just a second. Before we do that, we're going to get into two drills. We're going to give you two different types of drills. One is a rotation drill and handling a little bit of pressure, and the other one is some passing drills that we use to make sure that our players are practicing the passes that they will throw in games. So let's take a look at those two drills right now.
All right, this is a diamond drill. We're working on trapping and rotating. Got to have great communication here and got to be on the same page defensively. We don't want random traps, we want good traps. And as you can see, they're struggling to get good traps here. Teachable moment. Not very good communication. Great hustle, just not good communication, not on the same page. Second look at it. Gets a little bit better in this one right here. There's a trap and the rotations are still a little bit longer than we would like. Defenses that can trap or get into a bad situation, get matched up quickly, are going to be really good defensive teams. And right now we're slow to the matchup and we're a little out of position, but a lot of teachable moments. This drill allows us to get better at our rotations and matchups. Okay, right now we're going to work on drilling some passes that we actually make in games. We realized as we were watching these happen in the game and in practice, we were getting them but not completing them, and we needed to teach more detail. So this may or may not be a pass that you throw. Find passes that you throw and teach detail. Particularly in this one on the backdoor pass, we're trying to hit that back foot of the defender so that the offensive player has time to catch, read, and make a decision. If we give it too late, we won't get that opportunity. So just flipping it to the other side, and if we throw that pass too late, there's going to be help side defense. And if we throw it on a low trajectory, it might just go out of bounds or hard for the offense to handle. A good pass is one that's easy for the receiver to handle. So we're trying to teach our passers to give passes that the offense can handle easily. Okay, here's a bonus third one for you, and we're just working on some screen and some lobs. Same problem we were trying to solve earlier is we were drawing up some plays out of timeouts and we were getting some lobs and had some wide open looks, but we weren't completing them. So again, this may not be a pass that you make, but what are passes that you do make in a game, and are you working on the precision of them? We realized in our lobs we were not connecting, and we hadn't really taught where do you aim, what are you looking for? And it seems like such a simple thing that often as coaches we understand, but maybe players don't get. So working out the details of precision passing and whatever passes you make within your offense.
So those two drills you can use and implement in your practice, and just remember to make them age stage appropriate. It might look a little different in your practice than it looks in our practice because we have different players than you have, and you might have higher level players or low level players, or they might not be able to do that because of their strength or their age. So just fit it to your group. Maybe you tighten the drill up, or maybe those aren't the passes that you throw. Hey guys, now let's jump into three things that we can do to make sure that there's spirit and energy at every practice and every thing you do as a team. Let's start with you, Micah.
So my primary thing is going to be the energy list, as we call it. And at the beginning of the year, coaches, we had our guys actually write down on a sheet of paper after a meeting what they could be held accountable to as far as energy is concerned in our practice. And you'd be surprised at some of the answers that we got back. Some guys were, I'm going to give high fives. Some were how many PPMs they could get. That's positives per minute. Or even shoulder bumps. Guys are really excited about bringing energy. And it makes a huge difference when you have individuals who are focused on one task. It clears up the message. Lets us know what we can go to them about, what we look forward to seeing from them as far as energy is concerned.
Yeah, to be able to hold them accountable. If they say, I'm going to bring energy, but they don't have the specific of how to bring it, they might not bring it. So if they can just hammer down one thing, whether it's high fives or hugs or shoulder bumps or whatever it is, then we can hold them accountable for that. And that's really important. Graham, what you got?
Yeah, mine is just how our coaches show up. And this one's a really difficult thing because as a coach, we're so driven, hey, what's wrong and how can I fix it? And we can get into that little bit of a negative mindset where we're just so focused on fixing a problem, we actually don't encourage our players or give them confidence anymore. And so we've really had to focus, almost like looking in the mirror and say, how am I showing up today? And we make sure, as assistant coaches more than anything, we focus on bringing energy and actually celebrating players at different practices more than we actually coach. And then you'd be surprised and just amazed at how well those practices actually go, because all of a sudden our players think that we're celebrating them, and it's not just all about coaching. So we want to make sure as coaches, how do we show up and how do we encourage our players?
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to make sure that they are accountable to their energy list. list, we're going to make sure that our coaches are showing up that way, because a lot of times, coaches can dominate a practice, and you really want your players to have the loudest voice in practice, and we don't want to make sure that we don't kill that passion and energy. And finally, I would say this: evaluate, constantly evaluate, whether it's filming your bench or whether it's filming practice, or whether it's evaluating the coaches, whether having meetings between each other or filming the coaches to see, are we really doing these things? Are we really living up to these things? And people, they learn better when they see it, rather than you tell them, hey, you don't have energy on the bench. Let them see that they don't have energy on the bench. And if you film a practice and every one of your coaches is standing up here and it looks like 8 bodyguards, right, and nobody's out there bringing any energy, that's a problem. So, be conscious of evaluating that. Another way you can do that is to ask players to evaluate themselves. How do you rate yourself on giving those high fives or those positives per minute, and asking coaches to rate themselves. But if you're not evaluating it and you're not paying attention to it, it's not going to get done. So, the energy list is great for accountability. Making sure coaches is doing it is great for your staff to build spirit and energy. But finally, you got to make sure that you're evaluating it and that it's getting done. Because if you just talk about it, most of the time it doesn't get done. If you just give them some great ideas and a great locker room speech, it's going to last for a short period of time. But if you don't constantly reflect and go back to it, it ain't going to happen. Coaches, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
So just dance, dance, dance. So just dance.